Hello! Today we are going to have someone run on the beach. The main parts of this program we're going to look at today are like grouping and using some of the different drawing tools as well as setting up the backgrounds. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to need to do is make the person or character that we're going to have running across the beach to the water. And I'm going to make Susie. So to start with, I'm going to use the basic shapes. I'm going to choose the triangle. And I'm going to have her dress be filled with red. So to do that, I can leave this as the pink color. This will be the outline. And then I clicked on this fill and chose red. And now when I draw her body, basically, she's a triangle. So now I'm going to click on this. If I wanted it to be a different color, I could have it selected and then choose like orange, and now she has an orange dress, but I think I'll leave it just like this. All right, maybe I'll move down a little bit. All right, the next thing I want to do is I want to draw her head. So I'm going to go back to the shape tool right here. I'm going to click on the circle, and I think I want her skin to be sort of a tannish yellow color. So I'm going to choose that as the fill color. And I'm going to draw a circle that's basically going to be what I think her head size should be. It's okay that they're not together because remember, we're going to just use this arrow to move the head onto the body like so. All right, so now I have her body and her head. Now I need her arms and her legs. So to do that, I'm going to, just to keep them all sort of the same, I'm going to be using duplicate, but I'm also going to use the line tool. So I'm just going to click on the line. And now the line doesn't really have a fill choice. It's just going to be a solid color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on, change the pencil color to like the yellow color, her tanned skin. And then I'm going to select what I think would be a good thickness. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And I'm going to just make her legs like this. And then I can select the arrow to select this leg. And I'm just going to rotate it just a tiny little bit this way by grabbing this ball at the top. And then I can move it into where I want it to be. Don't worry the fact that it's on top of her body. I'm going to fix that in just a minute. So the next thing I'm going to do then is I want to make a copy of this to make the other leg. So all I'm going to do is just go ahead and go to this duplicate button right here. And then I have two of them. And then I'm going to drag this over. And now I'm able to rotate this like this. And now I have both of her legs here. Yay. Maybe a little bit more like that. Okay. She's going to be running after all. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to make these behind her body. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to move them backwards. So if you look, when I have the arrow selected down here, I have bring forward or send back. I'm going to send these back. So I'm going to click on them until they disappear behind the body, just like that. And I'll do the same with this one. Now her legs are behind her body. And I'm going to duplicate this again because I want to make her arms, and I might as well make them all the same size. Are your arms and legs the same length? I don't know, but hers are going to be. So I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to move it up here. Whoops. I resized it instead of moving it. And then I'm going to rotate it a little bit like this, and I'm going to stick it right where I think her arm should go, and maybe a little bit higher. Now, again, I have the same problem. It's on top, so I'm just going to send it to the back. There we go. And now that I have that arm, I'm going to duplicate it and make her other arm. So I'm going to pull this over here. I'm going to rotate it the other way. I'm going to put it right here so she has sort of even shoulders, and I'm going to send it back. All right, so now that I have Susie done, I'm going to just draw a box around her like this. And now I've selected everything and I'm going to group it. So that way when I'm animating her, all of her pieces move together. So I'm going to click on group, and now she's grouped. All right, now I have Susie and I can make her run and I can resize her or whatever, but I don't have a beach for her to run on. So instead of drawing one, I'm going to use just a picture of one. So down here, you have the select a background choice. So I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to search for an online image, and mine, I typed in beach up here, And this is the one that came up, but we'll do it together right now. So if I type in beach, it's going to search for beaches. And then the beach that you can see, there's a whole bunch of choices here. The one that I chose is right here. So I'm going to say set as background. And now I have Susie on the beach. I'm going to move her down to the bottom of the scene here. And now that I have it set up the way I want it, I have her where I want. She's going to run like right along here and run to the water. I'm going to just duplicate this frame. Now I'm going to make sure that my arrow is selected, and I'm just going to move her a little bit this way. Now I might want to have this onion skin turned on so I can see where she was in the first frame, so I don't move her too much. And then as she runs away from me, she's actually going to get a little bit smaller. So I'm going to just barely make her a tiny bit smaller, and I'm actually going to tip her a little bit. So as she runs, she kind of tips left and right. All right, so then I'm going to duplicate this frame, and I'm just going to do the same thing over and over. I'm going to grab her, and I'm going to move her farther up the beach. I'm going to tip her a little bit more this way. There we go. And I'm going to shrink her just a tiny bit. All right. And I'm just going to keep doing this over and over. So I click on her, I move her down the beach a little bit. I maybe shrink her up a little bit. Maybe I tip her back so she's straight up and down. I'm going to duplicate her again. And I'm just going to try and make it so that it looks like she's kind of running, but she's getting a little bit smaller. I don't want her to hit this sailboat, so I'm going to have her move this way now. I'm going to make her a little bit smaller. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to move her this way some more. I'm going to make her a little bit smaller. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to make her a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to tip her back. Hopefully it won't look like she's hitting the sailboat. We'll find out. Make her a little bit smaller. She's not hitting the sailboat. So that's all I'm doing. I just constantly am making her a little bit smaller and moving her down the beach. And then sometimes if I feel like it, I'll tip her a little bit. I want to make sure she's still touching the beach though. And then we're going to move her here, a little bit down here. And then my light went off. Okay, and then I'm going to do it again. All right, so let's just see how that looks. There she goes. She's running. She kind of jumps over the sailboat a little bit. She's running to the beach. Now that you've finished this assignment, you're going to go ahead and download it. So you click this save button up here, and then you're going to say save as animated GIF. So I'm going to click on that. And it's processing. And then once it's done processing, you want to download it so that way you can put it into your document. So I'm going to say download animated GIF. You can see down here it's downloaded. I'm going to go to my assignment, if I can find it. I'm going to go to our assignment. It says paste your GIF here. So I could go to my downloads and I could insert it. So insert, image, upload from computer, and then I could go to downloads and I can choose my animated GIF, open, and now there she is.